Here's a compilation of photographs and videos that may be of interest to anyone who's thinking about camping and cruising on a Drascombe Lugger or similar. Here's a trip summary, basically 4 days worth of sailing and 60 miles covered in total. First day started off with the longest trip. That was about 29 miles from Stonehaven all the way down to Arbroath. Here's the boat set up for cruising. I carry 4 large dry bags and 2 waterproof barrels, and there's some stuff stored in the lockers as well. And here we are sailing south on a nice swell, wind behind us, just passing Todd Head lighthouse here. Some nice surfing conditions, but not too bad. And here we are passing Johnshaven on the way south. And yes, finally the wind drops off down to nothing. So time to get the motor on, and here we are approaching Arbroath, and yes, circus is in town. And here we are in Arbroath Marina, tied up to one of the hammerheads. Safely tied up to a pontoon. Bit of a nightmare with Drascombe Luggers, trying to get the fenders right. The height just doesn't seem to work, so there's a bit of a mess of fenders there. Use the stowage of the deck planks. Yeah, here's the construction of the deck before the tent is put up. And of course the obligatory weight test. So I didn't have any footage of the tent going up, so here's some from a few years ago. Note this is showing the old system of wooden deck boards. Any rain that fell on the tent and flowed off went onto the planks and basically went directly under the tent, whereas with the new system, water flows off the tent and onto the side decks and out through the scuppers. The boards also take up a lot less room with the new system. Here we are with the tent up, and for any evenings in marinas or anchorages, I always have the gaff lowered down to reduce the windage. And here you can see the rudder is out of its slot and stowed up against the mizzen mast to give more room in the cockpit area. You can see there's a nice little footwell there behind the planks. So it's possible to sit in the tent with your legs into the footwell, which is quite comfortable. Here you see my little instrument box with the iPhone charging cable coming out. I've got 2 USB ports and a 12-volt socket in there. Here we are, comfortably sitting inside in a tent in the shelter. And here's the jet boil stove in use. Big improvement over the old petrol one. I think this here is going to be speeded up. You can see it just takes about 45 seconds to boil sufficient water for a cup of tea or coffee. And here we are, all closed up for the night. And here we are the next morning, all ready to go. This was to be a fairly short trip, just 9 miles from Arbroath to Lunan Bay. Not much wind, but I was treated to a wee show by the dolphins. And here we are, anchored up in Lunan Bay. Can't really beat that for an early morning view. And although it was about 7 o'clock in the morning, there were a few swimmers swimming under the cliffs. And here's day 3, about 13 miles in total, with a lunch stop in Johnshaven. Now, not much wind here, but I did have about an hour to wait until the tide turned around the headland. And here we are in Johnshaven, tied up to one of the fishing boats. It was low tide, so I couldn't go too far into the harbour. The wind did pick up slightly after Johnshaven, so a nice sail along the coast up to Gourdon. Arrived in Gourdon and tied up initially to the outer harbour. It was a bit rocky there, so moved into the inner harbour. Gourdon is quite a busy little fishing harbour and leisure harbour. And here we are, tied up alongside one of the traditional Scottish double enders. And here's a top tip: don't tie up close to a fish processing refrigeration unit. I'm actually here waiting for the rain to come off. There's a shot inside the tent with the inner tent removed and the boards removed as well. Just waiting for the rain to stop before I head off. And the final leg of the voyage, Gourdon to Stonehaven, about 10 miles. As you can see, very little wind, raining, misty, not a very pleasant morning. Wind fell away and had to make some progress, so switched the old motor on and rock and rolled up the coast. Good to check on what the tide's doing along the coast. We're just sailing close past some creel marking buoys to see how the current is doing. Quick check on the VHF and the waypoints just to see how far away we are from Stonehaven. And here we are, a little bit of wind, not a lot, but have to sail home, and there we are passing Dunnottar Castle. Still not a lot of wind, but here Stonehaven Harbour appears out of the mist. The final shot, Lily Ella moored safely up in Stonehaven Harbour.